Hi, welcome to 5 Mantra Career Point. My name is Harsha Kamal and today we will discuss about current affairs, Hindu paper analysis. I am a faculty over here dealing with current affairs. So, I prepared a certain topics regarding Hindu paper past 2 days. So, regarding this, I will discuss about the topics happened and their relevance towards the contemporary issues and also linking them with the GK, general knowledge aspects of polity, geography and other aspects. So, as I start, these are the topics today which I am going to cover. These 10 topics which are from Hindu paper. So first, we'll be starting with this one, UPA, so stringent, and death of Stan Swami. What is this case about? So UPA is nothing but Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, 1967. This is actually created in the wake of Naxalbari riots happened in West Bengal. So at that time, the government thought that the government should support, secure the integrity and sovereignty of the country. So they enacted a law called as UPA. The then President Sarvepalli Radhakrishna passed an ordinance in 1967 which further had been made an act. So finally, UPA has come into existence. So what is this UPA? UPA is actually an anti-terrorism law which is enacted in the country. So it's the first of a kind. So this actually says that an individual, presently in 2019, they made an amendment to this saying that an individual also can be designated as a terrorist. So that's what. So actually, the main controversy is this is very stringent. So coming to the detail, first I want to say about who is this Stan Swami and how is related to UPA. So Stan Swami is a Jesuit priest of Tamil Nadu and an activist. Actually, this person has been participated in Bhima Karagan case, Bhima Karagan violence. So what is this? Bhima Karagan is a battle which took place in Maharashtra. It's a village in Maharashtra where in 1818 a battle took place between the Dalits who fought on the behalf of the British and against the Peshwas of the Pune. So this battle is the victory of the Dalits. So to commemorate this victory, 200 years later, that is presently in 2018, January, they formed a meeting. So in that meeting, there are some allegations saying that these activists who have participated in the commemoration meeting are actually having links and ties with the Naxalites. So this made the government suspicious about them, and finally, this UPA came into action. So that the case has been handed over to the NIA, National Investigation Agency. So due to the violence caused in the Bhima Karagan incident, this case has been handed over to the NIA, National Investigation Agency. So at this point, what happened is the NIA has been started investigating through UPA. So whenever in 2019, what happened is any individual can be designated as a terrorist. That is the amendment of 2019. So this happened. So coming to this. So what is so controversy about UPA? The most controversial thing about UPA is granting bail. Granting bail is very difficult for under this act. So what happened here is normally a police to file to get a charge sheet, to proceedings, custody, to take a person in custody and find the evidence, it will be like 60 to 90 days. But under UPA, it has been extended to 180 days. So after the final inquiry and all the documents produced by the police, the court can't take any action. So finally, it is even hard to get a bail from the court. Court also can't grant a bail because it takes really 180 days for the police to inquire into the case and provide documents. So at the case, what happened is this father Stan Swami, who has been in the jail for 9 months, suffered from COVID-19 positive, and also he is having a disease called as Parkinson disease, which is a depressive disease. So finally, he just got dead recently in the jail, which is a human right violation. So that's the case regarding Stan Swami. Stan Swami is a person who is in Tamil Nadu, who is a Jesuit priest and also an activist. Among the 16 other activists, the total 16 activists, one other person is Stan Swami. He has not got bail and he has died in the jail. So that's the thing about UPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Recently, 2019, it has been amended. In 1967, it has been first enacted in the wake of Naxalbari case. Coming to the second topic, OIC Secretary General meets with Indian Ambassador. So OIC is Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which is established in 1969 and it has totally 57 member states. India is not a part in that membership because there is a clause saying that if you are having conflict with any of the member states, you have no chance in joining the OIC. So OIC is primarily mentioned for everyone, but you shouldn't have any conflict with the member states. There are totally 57 member states, and the Pakistan has been abstaining us, refraining us from joining the OIC, because we are having 4 wars with Pakistan, and the first war happened in 1947, which is first Kashmiri war, and second war is 1965, and third war is 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, and the fourth war is 1999 Kargil War. So these 4 wars with Pakistan restraining India to join in OIC. So what is the advantage regarding this? So the news aspect is, recently our ambassador met with Saudi Arabian, this OIC is a organization located in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So our ambassador met with Saudi Arabian General Secretary, OIC General Secretary in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah. So there has been a discussion regarding Kashmir issue and border skirmishes, all those. So at that time, India thought that India said that we are getting, restrictions and abstaining nature from Pakistan from joining this organization. So that's the thing where they discussed, the Indian ambassador and the Secretary General of OIC discussed. So that is the news. So in that way, I told about this OIC organization and its location and present Indian status in that OIC. We are not a member of OIC until now because we are having conflict with Pakistan, which is a member state of the OIC out of 57 members. OIC is the collective voice of the Muslim world. Now coming to the third aspect, that is life on Enceladus. What is Enceladus? Enceladus is basically, it's a moon which belongs to Saturn. You know, Saturn is a planet. We are having totally 9 planets. I'll say you. First is we are having Mercury. Next is Venus. Next is Earth, Mars, and in between we are having asteroid belt, which divides the inner planets and outer planets. Inner planets are called as terrestrial planets, and outer planets are called as gas giants. And after the asteroid belt, we are having this Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, and finally Pluto, which has been considered as dwarf planet. So coming to the Saturn, recently another thing is Saturn has been remembered as having the most number of satellites, moons, as it crossed Jupiter, 82 satellites. Yes, that's a current affair. Previously they told that Jupiter is having the highest number of satellites, but Saturn has been crossed the number 82. Jupiter is having 79. So the largest satellite of Saturn is Titan. Titan is the largest satellite of Saturn. Why I am saying this? Because Enceladus is a satellite of Saturn. Recently in the news, what happened is, these Enceladus have some ice plumes. These plumes are produced on the surface. How did they notice that? Because there is some microbial activity. They are saying that if there is water, there will be some certain microbial activity. So they have observed it. There is a spacecraft called as Cassini, which has been launched by NASA, European Space Agency and Italian Space Agency, which is a coordination of 3 groups. So these organizations sent Cassini in 1997. So this spacecraft actually, it's around the Saturn orbit, and there is a rover also, Huygens, which has been landed on Saturn's, as I told you, largest moon, that is Titan. So this is the mission, and this mission has identified, the Cassini spacecraft has identified certain ice plumes with plunging, certain ice blocks, certain kind of things plunging from the surface. So they noticed that, and they are saying that certain microbial activity is located on Saturn. So this is about Saturn. Coming to the fourth topic, that is Sikkim blossom stayed home to 27% of Indian flowering. So Sikkim blossom, flowers. Blossom means blossom, flowers. So coming to this, Sikkim is home for 27% of Indian flowering. How is this possible? The main thing is, Sikkim is having one biosphere reserve, that is Kanchenjunga Biosphere Reserve, which is having great ecological significance. We'll talk that. First of all, comparing this 27%, actually in India we are having total 18,004 flowering species. Okay, in that 4,912 species which belong to Sikkim, which is 27%. That's a great difference. Consider a state which is less than 1% in area is having so much potential in flowering plants. So that's the main important thing here. So that main thing is, it's having a biosphere reserve called as Kanchenjunga Biosphere Reserve, which is located in Sikkim, and it is the 11th biosphere reserve. It is the 11th biosphere reserve declared by the UNESCO, and in 2018. So this is the importance of this. This biosphere reserve is actually covered in Sikkim, and it has great ecological significance of so many flowering plants. Totally in India we are having 18 biosphere reserves, in which 11 are recognized by the UNESCO and 7 are domestic biosphere reserves. So what is a biosphere reserve? Basically biosphere reserves are, for example, it's a conservation place for all the flora and fauna, plants and animals. And also another thing is, the tribals who are living in the vicinity are also can interact. I mean, even their livelihood has been protected. I mean, they can interact. So that is the main theme of this biosphere reserves. In India, what the thing is, there are actually 3 stages in biosphere reserve. One is a core, second is buffer zone, and third is manipulative or transition zone. So what is this core zone? Core zone states that, I mean, there is no human activity in that. Core zone is strictly prohibited. I mean, no humans will be going, no tourism, forest resource extraction, those kind of things won't be there. It is highly restricted to humans. That is the core zone. And coming to the second thing is buffer zone. I mean, this is in the surrounding area of the core zone. This buffer zone actually is used for human education and research purposes. I mean, very little partial human interference will be there in that buffer zone. And after beyond the buffer zone, you are having this manipulative zone or transition zone. In this zone, what happens is, most of the area is for human activity. Tourism, I mean fishing, all kind of recreation activities, everything will be happening in the transition manipulation zone. So that's the thing. So these are the 3 important zones of the biosphere reserve. Coming to the stock part, we can say that India's largest biosphere reserve is Gulf of Kutch. It's in Gujarat. It's the largest biosphere reserve, and smallest is Dibru-Saikhowa, which is located in Assam. So these are the 2 somewhat related to GK part. So this is about biosphere reserve, which is category 5 of IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, category 5, which is designated as biosphere reserves. Next topic, Meghalaya raises concern over Assam Cow Protection Bill. So what is Cow Protection Bill? Recently, the Assam government is passed a bill regarding a cow protection bill, cattle protection bill. Actually, this protection bill is starting from 1950, which states that whichever cattle or cow which are 14 years aged or more than that can be slaughtered. I mean, you can say that how can a cow get slaughtered? Because we are having an article in polity, DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy, Part 4, stating that Article 48 states that prohibition of and slaughtering of cow and milching animals is prohibited. I mean, prohibition of slaughtering of cows is not there in India because our constitution protects, DPSP protects, because Directive Principles of State Policy are meant to be followed by the states. So this thing is there. This provision is in constitution. So that's why they enacted in 1950 a law for cattle protection by the Assam. So recently they are trying to enact a new law stating that the movement of cattle from one state to another will also be prohibited, because there is a lot of cattle smuggling happening in the border between Bangladesh and India. So to restrict that, to curtail that, they have been implemented this law. And also in Hindu areas, consumption of beef is also prohibited from this act. So recently what happened is, the Meghalaya government raises concern regarding that, because I mean cattle is mainly for economy and also for milk products. So transportation of cattle between states is going on all these days, all these times. So if you stop it, the trade will be lost. That's the concern of Meghalaya government. So they just want to, they are just telling the Assam government to just take a look at that, remove the clause of transportation of cattle, restrictions on transportation of cattle between states. Next topic is Twitter complies to new IT rules 2021. So information technology rules. So actually these are nothing but the ethics and moral code of rules. These rules are actually for OTT platforms and also intermediaries. Intermediaries. What is intermediary? Intermediary are like WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, all these microblogging sites. So microblogging sites are first time under the restriction and regulation of the government under the new IT rules 2021. So actually this new IT rules 2021 suppressed 2011 rules. So these rules are actually less stringent, but 2021 rules are more stringent. I mean, there are actually 2 important provisions in that. The intermediaries which are operating in India should appoint 2 kind of officers. One officer is Chief Complaints Officer, and other officer is Redressal Grievance Officer. So recently, Twitter, which is the last intermediary, accepted the Redressal Grievance Officer. So who is this Redressal Grievance Officer? He is V. Prakash. He is the person who is appointed on behalf of Twitter. So he is gonna check everything regarding the intermediary Twitter. So what is this? So actually this is mainly the Digital Media Ethics Code of 2021. So these OTT platforms are promoting hate speech and next defamation, all these kind of activities. To curtail this, the government came with the new IT rules 2021, which are really perfect for the present scenario to uphold our sovereignty and integrity of the country. Next topic is ZIKA infection in Kerala is rising. And also the first case of ZIKA virus has been identified in Kerala. So what is Zika virus? Zika virus is a virus which is first identified in monkeys in Uganda, which is a country in Africa. As you know that Uganda's capital is Kampala. Actually, Uganda is an African country. You know Africa is located between Atlantic Ocean as well as Indian Ocean. And also the three latitudes, important latitudes, that is Tropic of Cancer, Equator as well as Capricorn. All the three passes through Africa. The only continent all the three latitudes passes is Africa. So coming to the Zika. Zika virus is basically infected through sexual intercourse. So the infected persons who are having sexual intercourse will be infected with this Zika virus. So this is mainly affecting the pregnant woman. The pregnant woman, they will be having a disease called a microcephaly, which actually infecting this pregnant woman, and also the babies who are born, who are being born with larger heads. Compared to other babies, these babies will be having, smaller brains. That is called as microcephaly. And the other thing is Guillain-Barré syndrome. So Guillain-Barré syndrome is a neurological disorder. Actually, it leads to paralysis and finally death. So these two diseases are primarily affected by the Zika virus. So this is first identified in Uganda, capital is Kampala, located in African continent. So in India, Kerala is the host. In Kerala we have found this Zika virus. Next topic is United States withdrawal its troops from Afghanistan. Basically recently, according to Doha Agreement, United States has a conflict with the Afghan troops, Afghanistan. Actually, for 20 years, there is a, tussle between Afghanistan and as well as USA. So this thing has finally concluded recently, but the Doha Agreement says that September 2021 is the deadline, but US is withdrawing in Biden's administration before that only. So what is the impact actually created here? Actually, the Talibans are the main thing. The Talibans are actually the fundamentalist religious people. They are insurgents in Afghanistan. Primarily, they are located in Kabul, Pashtun area, which is west and east of Afghanistan. So these Talibs, the students of religious nature, these are the Talibs who are causing this insurgency in the country. They want to overthrow the government. That is the agenda of these Talibans. So coming to this, what here happened is, due to the presence of USA all these years, 20 years is a long time, there is a lot of improvement in the democracy of Afghanistan. That is the main important thing. As you can identify that in 2001, the people, the school children who are attending the school is like 9 lakh, and now it has been raised to 80 lakh, which is 8 million, which is a large increase. And also the literacy rate has been increased from 12% to 35%. And the other thing is life expectancy, because the USA is very good at standard of living and all the standards, because of some institutions or some kind of organizations, maybe the life standard, the standard of living of the people has been raised, and the life expectancy has been raised because of the medical facilities from 40 to 65, 60, this range. So the life expectancy of the people has been increased, and also there is an urbanization in Afghanistan. That is the main thing. So transformation of rural to urban. So there is a lot of development in the democratic nature of the Afghanistan people. So that is the impact of USA on Afghanistan. And finally, USA has withdrawn its troops to USA, and there are no troops, only some 600 troops like that in Afghanistan, not more than that. Next topic is Cabinet Shuffle aims to improve governance. Recently, the Modi government has been shuffled. The cabinet portfolios have been allocated to different people again. So this is basically on administrative lines. It just fits the agenda of the government that all sections, people, even the Dalits, OBCs and tribals, even they have given some cabinet portfolios in the government this time. So it's a major overhaul. Lot of departments have been changed. Like for example, I can say you that Kiran Rijiju, he has given a law minister, and the next, he's an IAS officer. His name is Ashwin Vaishnav. Yeah, he has been given Railways and Information Technology Ministry combined. He is an IAS officer and also IITN. So these are the etc. These are the ministries given to different people. And also Jyotiraditya Scindia, he has been given Civil Aviation. So etc. So many portfolios, so different people. Covering all sections of the groups like OBCs, Dalits as well as tribals. So what is this? What is a Council of Minister? What is a cabinet? Basically, Council of Ministers are 3 categories. First category is Cabinet Minister, and the second category is Ministry of State, and the third category is Union Ministers. So Council of Ministers, COM, 3 categories. That is Cabinet, Ministry of State, and Deputy Ministers. So these are the ministries of 3 categories. So these 3 ministries come under Council of Ministers. As I can say, Council of Ministers deal with 2 articles. 2 articles refer to them, that is Article 74 and 75. 74 states that in the Constitution that aid and advise. The Council of Ministers aid and advise the President in matters relating to the legislation and all. And the 75th article, which states that the appointment. The Prime Minister is appointed by the President, and the Council of Ministers are appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. That is Article 75. And coming to here, there is a clause, Article 75, Clause 1A, which is added by 95th Constitutional Amendment Act 2003, states that the Council of Ministers should not exceed 15% of the total membership of the House. So that is a provision which is added by 95th Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. So these are the provisions regarding the cabinet shuffle, which is based on administrative lines, and it actually just fits the agenda of the ruling government present. Next, the last concept, GST entering the 5th year. So basically, GST, Goods and Services Tax, which is a law passed, it is passed in 2016 by 101 Constitutional Amendment Act and came into force on 1st June 2017. So what is this about? It is an indirect tax. The consumers are not directly paying the tax to the government. That's the main thing. It's an indirect tax. The consumers are not directly paying the tax to the government. Okay. So this thing, it is actually having some slabs, that is 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. So these slabs decides the tax rates. So coming to this, recently, last year GST, the 4th year GST, what happened is, whatever they recover the revenue is this time 2%, this time is more than that. This time it is 93,000 crores. 93,000 crores of revenue collected, which is actually 2% from the previous year GST revenue collection. So what is that? The thing is, in May this year 2021, what happened is, due to lockdown, partial lockdown in some states and most of the country, there have been less revenue. So after the easing of lockdown, the e-way bills and all these bills, they just rised up because partial lockdowns have been stopped and completely they are easing of lockdown. So at this time, what happened is, the revenue has been increased from 5.5, in that particular month, last month, 5.5 crores coming from e-way bills. So e-commerce bills, e-transportation bills. From these bills, the revenue has been increased. So finally, there is a 2% increase compared to last year's GST revenue data. So here, GST, as I told you, consists of 3 articles, that is Article 279A and Article 269A and Article 246A. So these articles, they relate to the GST. Thank you all. I completed my session. Hope you understood. If you have any queries or doubts, please you can mail us, you can contact us from this number, and also you can comment us below regarding your queries. So we're actually starting a mentorship, a program, free online classes in YouTube. And also it is actually starting from 14th, from 4th to 7 p.m. evening. So you can use this opportunity. We are offering for all kind of competitive examination versatilely. So you better use this opportunity and find a good mentorship from our institution. Thank you.